pense avoir dit tout ce que je...
It was hard to recognize myself. Then the officer showed me a second photo, and a third I asked him to stop. It was unbearable. I was lifeless in my bed, and a man was raping me. My world fell apart.
What you just heard was a woman describing the unimaginable horror she felt when she discovered that her very own husband had drugged her and hired dozens of men to assault her. Each photo placed before her was a painful image, a nightmare she had no memory of but now had to face. The case, now unfolding in a highly publicized trial, has sent shockwaves through France. In November 2020, in a village in southeastern France, a security guard at a supermarket caught a perverted man sneaking behind women to peek a look at their skirts. He was arrested for secretly filming up their skirts with a hidden camera. The police began investigating the man's actions, worried there might be more history to his creepy behavior. They seized his computer and other devices, expecting to find more evidence. What they found, however, was far more horrifying than they had imagined. While looking for the reason behind his perverted photography, officers searched through the multiple suspicious computer files and found a hidden folder named Abuses on a USB drive. The content found in the folder was gut-wrenching. Thousands of videos and photos revealed a decade of unthinkable abuse. For over a decade, the man, Dominique Pélicot, had been secretly drugging his wife, Gisèle Pélicot, and filming her being sexually assaulted by different men. Each video had a different man raping his wife. What remained common in all the videos was Gisèle Pélicot lying in the same bedroom every time and not responding to the man sexually assaulting her. Her lifeless body collapsed on the bed led to the chilling discovery that the woman was unconscious in all the videos. When this revelation was brought to her knowledge, she appeared to be as clueless and traumatized as the officers who had found this on his computer. Dominique Pélicot had turned his bedroom into a horrifying stage for his twisted fantasies. The wife had no memory of all the brutal assaults inflicted upon her in the video. She couldn't believe what her eyes were seeing, nor could she comprehend what was happening. Her world had fallen apart. Her husband of more than 50 years, the man she had loved, trusted, and built a life with, had been secretly drugging her, then hiring different men and consenting them to have sex with her while he enjoyed watching it live. He collected the recordings and pictures as some sort of trophy that could later satisfy his disturbing sexual desires. More than 20,000 images and films were retrieved from Dominique's computer that confirmed the horrifying reality that Gisèle Pélicot had been raped over 200 times. When the officers first showed her the evidence of her sexual abuse, she couldn't recognize herself. Every time her husband had drugged her to the point that she did not remember a single incident. While recounting this moment in the current trial case, Gisèle told the court that everything she had built up over 50 years was falling apart. The police had saved her life. She then described how she appeared motionless and lifeless. I was sacrificed on the altar of vice. They regarded me like a rag doll, like a garbage bag. She further expressed that the term rape didn't fully capture the horror she experienced. It was the most evil form of torture. Gisèle questioned the men hired by her husband to assault her. When they used to enter the bedroom, didn't they notice that the woman they were supposed to have consensual sex with was lying like a dead person on the bed? The signs of being mistreated and drugged were clearly obvious. In her words, "Of course the body is not cold, it's warm, but it's as if I'm dead." While taking the stand in the courtroom, the victim spoke about the life she once spent with her husband. Their married life, which began at just the age of 21 in their home in Mazan in Provence, was modest. Having raised 3 children and sharing love for their 7 grandchildren, Dominique and Gisèle were a perfect couple in the eyes of their friends. Who knew the reality behind it would be so terrifying? Between 2011 and 2020, Dominique enlisted men from an online chat room where the topic of discussion among the participants would be having sex with their partners without their knowledge. The site is now banned for allowing people to post and engage in illegal activities. Once shortlisted, Dominique would then give specific instructions to the men to make sure they were not caught. The 50 men, who now face trial for their alleged roles in the abuse at different times, were told by Dominique not to bring a cigarette or wear any perfume as the smell could alert his unconscious wife. He would order them to leave immediately if Gisèle showed even the slightest signs of movement. Dominique used to drug her by crushing sleeping pills and anti-anxiety tablets and mixing them into her evening meals or wine. Without her consent or knowledge, Gisele was drugged every night, which led to a series of troubling effects. She started to have panic attacks even in distressful situations. The fear of missing the train rides to visit her children would make her anxious. At one point, she had lost so much weight that she would even have difficulty in having control over her arm. Her memory and concentration had taken a hit too. The officers found out all that had been done to Gisele years after she struggled with memory lapses, confusion, and hair loss. Before the discovery in 2020, her worsening symptoms had led her to fear she might have developed Alzheimer's or another mental disease, only if she knew that her husband had been drugging her regularly with the sedative drug Temesta. Gisele confirmed that she also faced gynecological issues. Medical tests conducted during the police investigation revealed that she was infected with numerous sexually transmitted diseases. Despite all this, some defendants had accused her that she might have acted to be unconscious.
These men are gardeners, nurses, firefighters, or engineers. Others retired or volunteers, even fathers, aged between 26 and 73.
Though the defendants' identities have not been made public yet, the authorities have mentioned that their ages range from 26 to 74. It's unbelievable to accept that such a wide range of individuals, from a firefighter, a local counselor, a nurse, and a journalist to a former police officer, a civil servant, and a soldier, could be involved in such a blood-chilling and horrifying crime. Many of them have partners, which only adds to the dark and disturbing nature of this ongoing case. Of the 50-plus men, Gisèle Pélicot could only identify one, a man who had once visited her home to discuss cycling with her husband. In court, she shared that she never imagined the same man who would greet her at the bakery was secretly coming to her house to rape her. Despite the investigations, detectives were unable to find more than 30 other men who were recorded raping Gisele. If these men are convicted of aggravated rape in the ongoing trial, then they, along with the 71-year-old Dominique, could face up to 20 years in prison. Several of the identified rapists have claimed they were unaware that Gisele was an unwilling participant. They thought it was a consensual game and blamed Dominique for deceiving them. While speaking to the panel of 5 judges, Gisele disclosed that the footage had been a true horror for her. It wasn't until May 2024 that she finally mustered up the courage to watch those gut-wrenching videotapes. In the hours after the police informed her of the horrific events, Gisele felt as though she wanted to die. The haunting screams of her daughter, when she came to know about what her father had been doing to her mother, were forever etched into Gisele's memory. All Gisele had while leaving her house were 2 suitcases, her loss of identity, and trauma baggage that will live with her for the rest of her life. Her 3 adult children have been her support and strength, while Gisele had turned down her right to anonymity and asked for a public trial. She wants no woman to suffer assault like she did. Her lawyer, Antoine Camus, stated that she opposed a closed-door trial because that's exactly what her abusers would have wanted.
Je pense avoir dit tout ce que je pouvais dire. C'est pas évident, bien évidemment. C'est un exercice de style qui n'est pas facile. Et puis il y a aussi la pression de tous ces individus qui sont derrière moi. Et je sens bien qu'on essaye, au niveau des questions, de me piéger, bien évidemment. Donc j'essaye de répondre le mieux possible. Et puis il va falloir se battre jusqu'au bout, bien sûr, parce que ce procès va durer 4 mois.
The public trial, which began at the Avignon court on September 2, 2024, is expected to last 4 months. Of the 80 men Dominique invited over a decade to rape his wife, 50 of the accused will be a part of this trial. Despite Gisele's request for complete transparency until the very end, the trial would still take a terrible toll on her. Since she doesn't have any recollection of the rape, this would be the first time that Gisele would live through the traumatic assaults she had been a target of for the last decade. Arrested on 2 November 2020, Dominique Pélicot had never denied the charges. While declaring himself guilty, Dominique stated, "I put her to sleep, I offered her, and I filmed." Health records reported that he acquired around 450 sleeping pills per year. The crimes of Dominique don't seem to end here. He has also been accused of raping and then stabbing a 23-year-old estate agent in her chest in 1991. He had also attacked another 19-year-old estate agent in 1999 who managed to escape him by fighting back. The DNA extracted from the blood at the crime scene was confirmed to be a match with Dominique Pélicot. The findings that the leader of the panel of judges revealed on the second day of the trial exposed the horrifying limits of immorality that Dominique had crossed. The police had also found extremely explicit photographs of Dominique's daughter on his computer. The daughter, Caroline Darien, shocked by the fact that her father had saved her naked pictures in a folder named "Around My Daughter Naked," was reported to have left the courtroom in tears. Meanwhile, unbothered by his disturbing crimes, Dominique appeared to be calm and reserved during the trial. His "without their knowledge" group chat history revealed that Dominique used to flaunt his crimes of drugging and doing sexual activities with his wife that she would otherwise not give consent to. On the fifth day of the trial, the daughter spoke to the media that the family's life had been turned upside down by the horrific reality. It was like a slow descent into hell. With the experts diagnosing Dominique with a split personality disorder, psychologists called him a short-tempered, selfish manipulator. The man who had maintained his image of being a loving family man was carrying out his sickening sexual fantasies in private. The moderately successful estate agent considered others as mere objects that he could use in the way he liked. His sexual activities could be linked to necrophilia, which is the attraction towards dead bodies, and voyeurism, which is seeking pleasure by seeing others doing sexual activities. Dominique was subjected to sexual abuse by a nurse when he was 9 years old. Some psychologists believe that this might have been a reason that caused a split in his psyche.
And outside court, activists called for the courage shown by one woman to lead to wider changes in laws and attitudes.
The disturbing layers of this case don't end here. On Wednesday, September 11, 2024, another man, Jean-Pierre, had been on trial for similar crimes. The 63-year-old lorry driver was part of the same chat, and he had enlisted Dominique as one of the men to rape his drugged wife. The suspicions of Pélicot's involvement were confirmed when investigators and Dominique's lawyer revealed that Dominique had multiple times provided the anti-anxiety sedatives to Jean-Pierre. Concerns about the trial being postponed surfaced when Dominique was ordered to undergo a medical examination due to his declining health. Scheduled to testify on September 10, 2024, he was excused from court because of abdominal pain. Reports indicated he was diagnosed with prostate issues, kidney stones, and a urine infection. On September 16, 2024, Dominique's lawyer announced that he would be available to testify the next day. Hence, the trial, with special adaptations, was resumed on September 17, 2024. The hearings were split up with breaks to accommodate Dominique's health condition. Gisele has amazed her supporters with the strength she's displayed throughout the ongoing trial. Speaking to the media outside the court, she shared how deeply touched she was by the worldwide support she has received. Her lawyer was shocked to learn that Gisele didn't protest when she had to go through the court security, sandwiched between her rapists. The trial session on September 17, 2024, brought several chilling breakthroughs for the case. Dominique openly admitted to being a rapist, accepting his role in enabling the countless of his wife by over 50 men. "I am a rapist, just like the others in this room," he declared, implying that all the men involved were aware they were invited to rape someone's coma-induced wife. He made this statement to counter the narrative that it was a consensual game, as claimed by some of the alleged rapists. While expressing guilt for his unforgivable crimes, Dominique talked about the sexual abuse he had faced in his childhood. He revealed his family's disturbing sexual abuse secrets. At the age of 14, he was forced to group rape a disabled woman near a building site. As per Dominique, such incidents were too heavy for him to bear and influenced the abuse he inflicted on his wife. When asked if he felt hatred towards his wife, Dominique denied it, saying, "I was mad about her. I loved her deeply. I ruined everything." Admitting that the sexual abuse of Gisele had become an addiction and integral part of his life, Dominique kept repeating, "No one is born a pervert. You become one." Dominique never considered the risk of exposing Gisele to multiple sexually transmitted diseases. Following his twisted fantasies, he had never let the men invited to his house wear condoms. Adding to the horrors of this already distressing case, when the court questioned him about the photos showing his daughter asleep in underwear, he denied taking the pictures. The daughter present in the room couldn't stop herself from shouting, You're lying, murmuring, when he said, "I never touched my daughter." Another disturbingly sick allegation that surfaced against Dominique was that he had installed hidden cameras, even in the bathrooms of his two daughters-in-law. In light of these latest court updates, hearings for 6 new defendants in this mass trial has begun on September 23, 2024.